lawyers, I don't know if you saw this, it came out in the news today. Lawyers say they can't find the parents of 545 children who were separated by the Trump administration during the family separations at the border. Yesterday, lawyers announced they can't find the parents of these 545 migrant children. They were separated by the Trump administration. The lawyers from the American Civil Liberties Union, they were appointed by a federal judge to identify migrant families who were separated by the administration, and they're saying that about 2/3 of those parents were deported to Central America and their children were left behind. If you remember, they took parents and put them in one jail, children in another. The U.S. government made no effort to put the children back with the parents when the parents got deported. So the parents were deported to another country and the children remained in the United States in detention. Now, the Trump administration, back in 2018, they instituted a zero-tolerance policy. It separated migrant children from parents at the southern U.S. border. The administration later confirmed that it had actually begun separating families in 2017 along some parts of the border. So this has been going on now for over 3 years. Now, unlike the 2,800 families separated under the zero tolerance in 2018, most of whom remained in custody when the policy was ended by executive order, many of the more than 1,000 parents separated from their children under the pilot program, this is the one done in 2017 before anybody even knew this was happening, they had already been deported before a federal judge in California ordered that they be found. Now, the group Justice in Motion is physically searching for the separated parents in Mexico, in Honduras, in Guatemala. They are actually literally putting volunteers on motorbikes, in cars, handing out flyers. And by the way, I had read that more than 2/3 of these children who were separated from their parents that are still have not been reunited now 2-3 years later. When they were originally separated, they were under 5 years old. Under 5 years old, and they still haven't gotten 500 plus children back to their parents who got deported. Now, I want you to know something. I am sure there are people out there who would say, well, they took it upon themselves. They knew the risks. They knew, if they come to the border, how would they know they would be separated from their families? These people were running away from violence, and they ran away from violence and ran right into a fire. Nobody, and by the way, even if they did know that, the 5-year-old didn't know that. The 5-year-old didn't. The 5-year-old.
Right, exactly. That's what I was waiting to get to.
The 5-year-old didn't deserve that. The 5-year-old didn't agree to be separated from his mother and his father. They're still in detention or foster care or wherever it is. But these children were forcibly separated from their parents. And then I'm sure there's Americans who are saying, oh, I'll adopt them. I'll give them a good life. But nobody asked you to adopt them. They should be with their parents, their biological parents.
Even when this all first started, I never understood what was the reasoning behind separating the families, because in the end, it's why? This only brings more responsibility to the United States, the whole foster system. It's just
It was deterrence. It was deterrence. So if you as a family member in the past, what would happen is if you came to the United States with a child, there was a federal court order back from the Clinton era that said that if you have a child with you, you have to be released from detention within 20 days while your political asylum application is pending. So people knew, bring your child, you go to jail for 20 days and you get released. That's what the government felt they were doing. So the government said, we want to stop people from coming to the United States and applying for asylum. And what we especially want to stop people from doing is coming to the United States with a child applying for asylum. So therefore, you now get released. And now you're in the United States with work authorization 180 days after your release. and it's taking years and years and years to schedule an asylum interview for you, and now the person gets to live in America several years legally working. That's what they were trying to prevent. But what they did with a broken system, because yeah, it's a broken system. I just spoke to somebody today for a consultation who applied for asylum in 2017. They still haven't gotten a hearing yet. So it's an absolute broken system, and they want to move on with their lives. Everybody does. But to take a broken system and then turn a broken system into a broken and now extraordinarily cruel system, that's adding fuel to the fire that these families were running into. Yeah. Meanwhile, the group Justice in Motion said in a statement, while we have already located many deported parents, there are hundreds more who we're still trying to reach. It's an arduous and time-consuming process on a good day. During the pandemic, our team of human rights defenders is taking special measures to protect their own security and safety, as well as that of the parents and their communities. They are literally going in countries with flyers. Do you know this child? Is this your child? We want to it's like missing, you know, like when you see a child goes missing in the United States and people are handing out flyers, or a person goes missing in the United States. This woman was last seen jogging on First Avenue and now is gone for 30 days. And you have groups of people canvassing the neighborhood, handing out flyers of pictures. That's what's happening right now in Mexico.
Isn't that putting more work
Central.
on them?
Of course,
But that's what exactly. It's more work.
Of course. That's what's happening in Mexico. They have groups of people walking around, canvassing hillsides, small towns, big cities, handing out flyers. Do you know this child? We're trying to get this child back. And by the way, have you heard one word from Donald Trump about this? Or have you heard one word from the Republicans about this? They're the party of family. They're the party of family. And by the way, how hypocritical to say every life is important. We don't want abortion. It's not a woman's choice. But once that child is born, their life's not that important anymore. It's only important up until the point where the child is born. How hypocritical is that? Because this child is 3-4 years old, we're going to separate him from your mother. How is that helping a child? How is that saying every life is important?
Do you think they feel like this has gone too far and that's why they're going and like they're trying to do this now? Because like for them to go the extra mile and like say, okay, now we're trying to reunite these families that we initially separated.
The Republicans are not doing it. It was a lawsuit brought by an organization, a civil rights organization, that wanted the Trump administration to reunite these children with their parents. They weren't even planning on doing it.
So and they weren't even planning on doing it?
No, it was a federal judge who's forcing the government to do it now.
What the heck?
Wow.
Like, wow.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.